some controversy? Yeah. Are you ready for some fun? Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for some laughs? Yeah. Let's get unfiltered with Cycle 4081.
Part 2. So, all right, you guys, thanks for joining us again. But part 2, we're going to go over some questions, and this is about the pros of being a secret lover. And I know everybody doesn't agree with being a secret lover, but we're going to talk about the good things, so you may have different opinions on it. So my first thing was, can a secret relationship provide emotional support to unhappy people? And I can attest to that. Let me give you the data first, right? Many people involved in affairs report feeling emotionally seen or appreciated for the first time in years, right? So we're talking about affairs. Emotional affairs frequently begin in the workplace or online friendships where emotional vulnerability develops slowly. I think it's a safe zone. So therapists report emotional disconnection is one of the strongest predictors of infidelity, aka cheating. So my question to you guys, can secret relationships, that relationship with your side piece, can it provide emotional support if you're unhappy, or to unhappy people? Not necessarily you, but can it provide emotional support to unhappy people? And we're going to start with Alexis Nexus.
That's crazy you chose me. um, for one, I actually don't I have the answer to this. I got to go with, so the question is, could it provide emotional support?
Yep.
To unhappy people. I mean, I think it could. I definitely was unhappy when I was cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I am converted. I am not a cheater anymore. But
you've been delivered.
Yeah, I think it could provide. I have been delivered. Yeah, I think it could support. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much on it. I think it could.
Okay. Now you can say, because firsthand, because you were cheated on as well, right? Paul said he was cheated on. So the question to you, can those secret relationships provide emotional support?
Well, as I developed in my journey from being the cheated to the cheater, yeah, it can be quite therapeutic and almost make people happy. I believed I was doing customer service.
All right, so he got a whole job title, customer service rep.
I was providing emotional support. I was providing mental clarity, physical,
and that's as the side dude.
As the side dude.
Okay.
Customer service agent.
Okay, customer service agent, right?
Customer service agent. Yeah.
Now let me ask, because we talked about that. Has anybody here, aside from Paul, been that side dude or side gal?
Oh, for sure.
Alexis, okay.
I feel like I've played all roles. I'm the ultimate villain.
I was a side dude in a condition of not being the side guy, because I was benefited by taking the woman to dinners and stuff, while one of my friend of mine was hitting it after I got finished taking her to a dinner. She went straight to his house and gave him punani. So if you wanna consider that,
no, that's not a side dude. That's not side. Yeah. Side dude. Put
that's
this way,
as close as I came to a side dude.
Well, okay, that's close. But we got another word for that. We won't mention that here. But we're going to talk about. I'm glad you mentioned that. We're going to talk about that, right?
You was paying for dinner, and the other guy was reaping the benefits of your hard work. You was a laborer. You were laborious.
I appreciate your professional stance on it.
He said you were laborious. If that's me, I'm going over her house. I'm pulling the breakers to her electric out. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Hey,
Okay, okay. So now,
does it count? Does it count? Because I don't know if I was ever the side piece.
no. So here's the
I have
thing:
no idea.
you have to know that you're the
Okay.
side piece. So that's the caveat to that. You have to know.
All right.
You can't be a unwilling side piece, or unknowing, because that's a little different, you know. But
I can say no, but she might have been playing. I might have been. I don't even know.
right, true, true, and most of us would probably never know too. So, but let me tell you, I think you can. I think that some of the things that women look for in their side piece, sometimes they do want that emotional support that they're not getting in the household, and men too. Men, now and I could tell you, I have many, being in the Navy, being in a police officer or whatever. We all talk about these things, and there's been many a time where we get together, and we complain or we vent about our spouse, right? And then obviously you also see the extracurricular affairs that they go to, because they don't have a way out. They don't have a person to vent to. They don't have a person that's going to make them feel like a man. Certain of the things that people look for in relationships. So it's easier for a person on the outside, whether it be a man or woman, to come and offer that, because they ain't got no liability either. They're not sharing the bills. They don't have the kids. It's all good. So it's a little bit easier, so they can find that. So in that case, I think it does happen more times than not. I think that finding that emotional support. Now, I ain't gonna lie, there's other people that just go out there, they want just the physical support they're not getting. We do have those people, but I think generally, you can get emotional support from, especially when you're, that's the key word, if you're unhappy, not just because you're greedy or anything, like you're unhappy. I think you could do that. Mm-hmm. But so would you consider that emotional survival? And is it a valid justification when you're unhappy and you don't have the emotional support?
Is it viable justification? No.
Valid justification, right? So basically, if you're in a relationship and you're
Does that make it
totally
okay to cheat because you emotionally weak? Like, no, that's a cop out.
okay, so it's no
That's a
no
cop.
no
Patient.
emotional survival, right? And I'm gonna give you the example. I'm gonna give you an example of this, and it's things that I've seen, from on the job. Basically, if you have a situation where the person,
Brian, excuse me.
yes,
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
the last
If you
one.
don't have, yeah, if you don't, basically, all you're saying is, if you don't have the emotional support at home, but you find it somewhere else, is that emotional justification? Is that what you're saying?
So the first part, I was saying, can you get emotional support? Does having that side or a secret relationship, give you emotional support to unhappy people? That's the first part. So we followed it up with, is emotional survival basically a valid justification? Now the key thing is emotional survival. So, and I was given the scenario that you could be in a situation where you can't get out. You feel you can't get out, whether it be for financial reasons, for fear, for
Family,
family. Exactly.
yeah.
Good point. So do you just stay in there and just be, destroyed little by little?
The way we were raised, and the way most of us were raised, that's what you do. That's what our grandfathers did. That's what
Exactly.
their fathers did.
Right.
You,
Well,
whatever it is, you toughed it out and raised that family,
they
took care of
did.
that family.
They did. But they also, things speaking about the grandfathers and the great grandfathers, they also had a family across town too.
No, it was down the road.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So would you say in that situation, and that's emotional survival for some, not for everybody, but for some, would you say that's a valid justification?
I would say so because emotionally, what do you do when you're at work? You latch on to somebody, male or female, and you guys become friends. You talk, and later on, you find out maybe this is your therapist at some point. Maybe you're not talking like that at home. So that's your emotional support. Maybe your male friend or a female
Yeah.
interest. So yeah, I think so. I think now justification for survival. And I don't know. I think that's a little too far with it, but you do have emotional support people at that you have at your job or at your barbershop or something like that. They support your talking. You can let loose and talk to them. You may be able to talk more there than you can at home.
Okay, yeah, and I
But
think
I
we
don't
we
think I
can all
don't think it
relate to
would
that
be
too.
survival though.
You don't
Yeah, I
you
don't
don't
think
see
it
that
would be survival.
you don't see that as emotional survival in the
I don't know. Well, it all depends on
in
how deep and how bad your problems are for it to be survival. If it's
okay.
just something you need to talk, you need to get out and get off your chest sometimes because you don't want to go home and argue. Yeah.
Well, I see it as this because I've seen it many times over and over again where people just have that feeling of being stuck. That's what
Okay.
I'm thinking of in
Yeah.
that situation. If you have a
Okay.
feeling of being stuck, you know, or you can't leave because you don't have the money to survive on your own for whatever circumstances. You may fear that it might be some domestic violence, not just on you, but maybe the kids or your family, whatever it is. There's a lot of reasons why people feel stuck. And I think where I say it, where it would be a valid justification if you're in that particular situation where you feel hopelessness, you know, you do want to maintain I guess your emotional health, but not sacrifice your physical well-being, or all the other things I mentioned. So I think sometimes it is and
I agree with that.
yeah, but it's very small circumstances. Like I said, you got to have, basically a feeling of hopelessness. And I could tell you, I've been there. So I've had that feeling that there was no future, or, I couldn't see any happiness in it. So you do have that thing where you have to get that emotional survival. But now on the other hand, I want to answer from everybody on this one. Should unhappy people just leave instead of cheating? And this is outside of the hopelessness thing. So just in general, aside from having the side piece or whatever, should anybody who's unhappy leave instead of cheating?
Yes,
I think so.
they should just leave.
They should leave.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree they should leave. It's for
Okay.
yourself.
Just
Leave for
just
yourself.
Leave for
If,
yourself.
if there are, if both parties involved have exhausted all possibilities and it ain't working, it's over. No,
Just
there's
leave.
no love, joy, happiness. Just leave.
Okay. Okay. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Um, I think that's pretty cut and dry. It'll leave you. Well, all right. Okay, now let me throw a wrench in this. Let me throw a twist. Let's say is everybody's unhappy and things are going bad. Knowing if you leave, you're going to be destroyed financially, meaning as a man, and we always have this in our back of our head too. When I leave or get divorced or whatever, what is she going to do for revenge, or how is that going to affect my salary as far as, let's say, child support, what's the other one, alimony, all these different things, splitting of the assets, all those things. So with that in mind, I think that would prevent a lot of people from going to I'm just going to leave before cheating, right?
valid concerns,
Eh,
definitely.
very valid, very valid. And
Right?
I think you weigh the consequences. I guess that's the risk versus reward thing. You weigh the consequences. Do I go? Do I stay? Or do I just get my little peace of mind when I can? And I think that's what goes to a lot of people's
Yeah.
minds, right? So
I agree with that. Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. That's why I said though, if both parties have exhausted all possibilities to try to fix or work things out, then maybe it's still a chance that it can work.
Right.
However, there are times that usually we've all seen, heard or been involved where it just ain't moving the needle anywhere but down.
Right. Has anybody seen the movie? I mean, the TV series called You? You have? E double,
Yes.
I
right?
have, yeah.
You
Yes.
The serial killer.
yes,
Yes.
right?
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Goldberg, right?
Joe Goldberg.
Joe Goldberg. What if you have a potential Joe Goldberg? Now, matter of fact, you have a potential Joe Goldberg, and what was that? The first wife he had, that the crazy girl,
Love.
Love. That's right. She was just as loony as he was, right? Actually, I
Yeah.
think she was more loony than him.
She was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So, with that in mind, does that change your perspective on leaving instead of cheating?
I think it's a delay. You delay. You
The
delay. Hey Brian, are you asking? Are you asking the soldier in me or the regular everyday guy?
let's go with the soldier.
The soldier in me is gonna get rid of him and make him disappear. And nobody gonna find him. This is recorded.
well, you know what? That's Joe Goldberg level and
Yeah.
Love. They was good at that, right? All right. So let me ask you something. Speaking about secret lovers, and then this kind of goes to what Marky said. He said about the best version, right? Do secret lovers get the best version of somebody, of someone, male or female,
In the beginning, yeah,
in the beginning? Okay.
yeah.
What
You don't
anybody
know.
anybody
I
says
think
otherwise?
what did Marky say?
He said in the beginning, basically, you the secret lovers get the
Yeah,
best version of you, of them or
in the
whoever.
be- yeah, in the beginning because you put your best foot forward.
Hmm.
It's feel like the shackles are off you. You can relax and try to be yourself, but eventually that fades.
Okay. Let's see what Alexis Nexus says.
Um, I feel like I'm agreeing with the guys that in the beginning, yeah, you get the best of the person, but then I'm also like, no, you don't. Because if I had to go by my best, I don't think my secret lovers was getting my best, but they
Okay.
was getting a good part, but it wasn't the best.
So the
Because you can't, because there's not enough time or space or opportunity to do the best because you running around ducking and dodging, it's kind of like,
good point.
I know for me my best looks really 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 good.
Okay, but that is a good point. And
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Dimitri, what do you say?
Yeah, because I mean my best would be like
Um,
taking a woman on vacation and she don't pay for shit,
Right.
or like chauffeuring. Like it can get very extreme, even if it was side chick. But you can't really do all of that if you have a person. If I'm in a relationship and I'm trying to hide, how am I supposed to hide? I'm out of town with somebody.
I
She
I
gonna
have.
they're gonna know.
You're
Oh,
Because
absolutely right
when I
about
when I'm
that.
with my friends, they like my partner knows. I'm like, hey, look, the gang's all here. Look at us. She gonna be like, where the gang at? So you by yourself? You didn't bring me? There's just no way. So I guess it depends on if somebody's best is giving just sex, or if somebody's best is like, oh, they come over and they cook for me, and
No,
but
I
I
have. I
think my
have.
best is not. It don't look like that. So
I
okay.
have friends who
yeah.
I feel bad saying this. I have friends who they were in relationships and they've given the best to, like they'll just meet someone and have this persona, your best foot forward, your best representative. They'll take the person out of town. You just meet them this week. They'll take them out of town next week. They're showing them a good time. They letting them drive the car, the good cars. They are spending this money on them, and it's yeah. I have friends that are like that. So some people do put their best foot forward, and then the wife is in the house, or not even the wife, girlfriend is in the house with the child, and she's looking like you know what's going on. Where you going? What about me? So yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of weird
They
situations.
got the house corona in the
I
bottom talking
agree
about
that happens. I think that the wife or the person is just they too lax.
Yeah, but it
They're
doesn't
way
last
too
long
lax.
though,
Like
like you said.
or that they don't have good communication. Because any of my relationships that I had great communication, there's no way I could ever get away with doing the stuff that I'm talking about on here that I used to do. There's just no way.
Okay. So I know Paul was about to say something.
were you about to
um
ask me?
No, I know Paul was trying to chime in earlier.
No, I said that to go piggyback on what Mark you saying that the guy or the woman's out there trying to put her best foot forward, and meanwhile the partners at home with the bonnet on and the house coat, wondering like what's going on.
The bonnet. That's what's going on.
All right, but you
Sign off.
that
I take it back. I take that back. I apologize.
but that's real.
Well,
That's real.
can I answer?
I work from
Yeah.
home on Thursday, so I put my leave it on.
Don't take it back. I hate them damn things.
Dimitri, you wanted to chime in.
Bonnets.
Yeah, I've been trying to answer for a minute. So, my answer is, and I think Paul will agree with me on this. He'll know what I'm talking about. I think I agree with Marky said because that other partner in a situation, that other partner can actually be your peace. Whether
Okay.
you do it whether it's at the beginning or all the way through.
I
You know what
agree.
I'm saying? So Paul knows what I'm talking about with that. It could be your peace.
And that's good enough as far as but the thing was we were saying is that do the secret lover, that little side, even though she or he might be your piece, do they get the best version of you?
Yeah.
Okay, just
Yeah.
because she's your piece.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're more comfortable, you're more relaxed, and you could just open up. You could just
Okay. So let me throw this in there. Here's the good data. Secret relationships often avoid stressors like bills, parenting, chores, and daily conflict. That's what I was saying earlier, right? You don't have all those stressors. So, even if it's not the ultimate best of you, they getting a really good version of you. You don't have those stressors, right? But psychologists note affairs are frequently built around fantasy rather than reality. And couples in long-term relationships experience, the declining novelty over time, while secret affairs maintain constant excitement. So, with that said, you're most likely to give your best because a lot of times you're getting that other person's best as well. You don't have those stress. You don't have the kids. You're not going to fight over those issues with the kids. Well, I want the kids to do this. You want the kids to do that. You don't have that. You don't have the thing about the chores in the home, right? Who's doing the laundry? Can you fold those clothes? You never fold the clothes. You never put this toilet seat down. All these little things that happened, in the household. You don't have that. So it's always going to seem like you're getting the best, and you're going to appreciate that, or they wouldn't be there, I think. So now, with all that said, is a love affair actual love, or is it just a curated fantasy?
It's a lustful, curated fantasy.
Curated fantasy. Now, why would you say is a fantasy versus love?
Because the reality is, it's your home where your wife is. That's your home. So if the reality is, if that's your wife at home, that's supposed to be everything real about you, within you and around you and about you. It's with your partner because y'all are one now. So y'all ain't playing the streets. You don't owe that person nothing. They don't owe you anything.
Right.
It's
I agree.
All you can do is just hope that they don't get mad up at me at some point to where they want to wrap my ass up.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a good point there too. So, all right, let's go to the customer service agent, Paul. Right?
I'm on the job.
Do you think that a side piece in that love affair, you think that could be actual real love or just a curated fantasy, something that you living in?
I'm gonna say this. Most of the time, it can be a curated fantasy. However, a side piece and I don't like that. I don't really like to use the word side piece, but uh, you both may have find out that you have mutual interests, mutual mindsets, that you may not particularly share with your significant other, and especially when you're going through times when you realize that maybe this wasn't the right fit for me, because we all get married, we all get committed for a lot of different reasons other than love, but um this particular side piece or this other person may share a lot of your similar interests or have the same mindset, or want uh, uh may want to go in the same direction that you always envision yourself going. So it can happen. It can be love.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that, and for the reasons you stated. And there will be time. Sometimes you people do come in your life, but there's that barrier that says, well, you can't explore that person, you can't explore this situation, whatever, because you have a commitment or whatever. But in the case of having the side piece or the secret lover, there's probably going to be a time. I'm going to say probably, but there's a time for some people where you do meet that person that you're most compatible with. That even you may even find a soulmate, like for everything. You have the same goals, you have the same likes, and it could be things like such as you both like to go bowling, you both like football, you like the same team, you like to eat such and such, you like to all these different activities, and children aside, you can find that person that you thought you had in the person you was with. You can. I think that can happen. Now, here's the however part. There's always a however. I I think it's still going to be untested because I always say you never know the true person. I don't care how much they support you during, whatever, but you never know the true person or who you have or what you have until you go through times of adversity. It's too
That's true.
easy. Right. It's too easy to ride that wave when everything you got, going back to my Navy days, you got clear weather, smooth sailing, smooth seas, and all other type of stuff. That's easy. But when it gets rough, and especially when the pressure is put on you or her, who who do you have then? How are people going to behave then? How are they going to look at you from that time going forward? Right. So I do think there's cases where it can be true love, and there are cases where it's a fantasy. But I don't think you'll know until you go through those times of adversity, and followed my next question, you have to have an ordinary life to gauge it, right? So
Yeah.
now the question I'm gonna ask now, would that relationship, whether it be your fantasy or whether it be your real love, do you think that relationship could survive early life? I mean, I'm sorry, not early life, ordinary life. That's the question you would have to ask and find out. So for you guys, do you think having a side piece in both situations, whether like you had the real love, or it's a fantasy, do you think that it could survive ordinary life? Let's go with Dimitri on this one. Dimitri, I want you to chime in on this one.
Yes,
What was that?
which Dimitri?
You're Dimitri.
Oh,
He's Demetrius.
okay. I saw his face pop up. That's what I was like. Uh, yeah, I think it could survive in ordinary life. Yes. Um,
Under both circumstances.
under both circumstances, yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I think so.
Okay. And any conditions? Okay.
Yeah, it goes back to what you said about the
Adversity.
finding out finding adversity. You find out what you got. If you got something good, yes,
Okay.
just that point alone.
Okay. Who here thinks that the relationship would survive or could survive ordinary life? And we talk about ordinary life. We all have ordinary lives. We have those stressors of ordinary life. Who thinks this relationship could survive that? No. Alexis says no.
No,
And no way.
it couldn't.
Demetrius says
I'm
no.
gonna say I'm gonna tell you why it couldn't. I'm gonna tell you why it couldn't. That fantasy thing
Mm.
is not going to survive the ordinary life, because when you get to ordinary life, there's a couple factors, and it's actually really funny because I had a conversation with somebody about this today. Which one of the factors is, what are your love languages, right?
Mhm.
And what are your communication styles? And I had to like tell somebody today, like, hey, look, we got the same top three love languages, but you prioritize yours differently and you show up to use them very differently, and that don't work for me. Then also the communication is, some people will say like, oh, it's great. Nah, it's lacking. And so I realized it's not even it's just lacking, it's that we have different communication styles. So even if you wanted it to be like, no, 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 we can make this work, it's probably not going to, because the way you operate is it's not like, it's just different. And then
Okay.
that's okay too, but it's different. It's not going to be a smooth sailing at all. So then guess what? If you can't have some of those things on the same page, then when you get to the bills, when you get to the living with the person, when you get to all these other things, you'll start to find problems.
Okay.
Well, then that's where the problems are going to come in, because you know there it's not even always just a lack, it's just that it will be a problem that it's done so differently, and that it's not on the same page. Like some people can be like, oh well, it's okay that it's not the way I want it done, but as long as it get done. Yes, but if it's not the way you want it done and it's the most annoying way, that's gonna be a problem still.
Okay.
you know so
Okay.
I think communication style and I think love languages play a big part in that, and most of the time their side piece, they're gonna have hold up that fantasy, that's great, but the real love will be able to kind of be able to overcome all of those pieces and work together.
Okay.
So,
So
so Brian,
That's
that's what I think.
you gotta say this. I equate it to like we've all went through school and we've all seen when the sub comes in,
Yes.
when the teacher's guy was out. We see how the others act when the sub is in, right?
Right.
We
Mm-hmm.
see how they act when the main teachers are there.
Mm-hmm.
Very different.
Okay.
And
it's funny.
I want to say one thing. Also, like I had a friend who met her husband, but they met while they were both cheating. So like it worked good for a while, but then it seemed like every time he was out too long, is he doing what he did when he was,
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
like that? And it would always come back to that her remembrance, like she would remember that, and it could be like just putting it like making how do you say it, like preemptively putting that
Yeah.
on them
Right.
because they met that way.
Okay. Or and an example of that would be if they remember the excuses you gave, or yeah, the
Fact.
excuse you gave that your spouse while y'all was cheating, and all of a sudden, and even may be legit, and they hear that same excuse,
Yeah.
antennas go up.
Right? And that's why I was using the substitute teacher analogy,
Yes. Yes.
because isn't that what a fantasy is? It's a substitute for the real thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So eventually, that fantasy, it
It
fades.
fades, disappears,
Now
dissipates.
once it dissipates
Now,
and leaves out the picture, what's left? The reality of I should have stayed my ass home.
well, that's interesting you said that, because me and you talk about music, and I told you that I was looking at different shows and trying to find a vibe of the music to create. One of the shows that I've been looking at is Temptation Island, right? So on Temptation Island, it's controlled fantasy land, tropical vibe situation. You got you meet new people and things like that. So eventually they go through the weeks and they get to this thing called the final bonfire. So they meet up with the partner that they came to the island with, so they can either leave the island with the partner they came with, decide to leave by themselves, or if they made a connection, they would leave the island with the person they connected with, right? So this particular season I'm watching, like three of the people decided that, you know what, I found someone that treats me better, you know. So they leave the island with the person. Do you know, like a week, 2 weeks after they broke up and eventually go back to their old, because it's a controlled fantasy land. It's a
Right.
controlled environment. Once you get out of that controlled environment and you are part of the everyday stresses of, okay, now we got to decide how we're going to live, whether it's a long distance relationship, are we going to intermingle our finances? If you got a kid or I got a kid, how are we going to manage that?
And friends.
Family,
And
family and
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those stressors, now you're not in that controlled fantasy land without those, because in the island, all you had to do was focus on you and that particular person.
Right. Right.
That's all you had. So off the island, now when you're back off the island, everything that you that you came to the island and left behind is still right there in front of you.
But let me throw this in there. But shouldn't that be a positive in a way? Because once you, let's say, and I've never watched the show, but let's say on Temptation Island, you got, people that you're focused on. And a lot of times I think relationships falter because they don't get that falter. They never dig deep into who that person is. So
That's true.
going to a Temptation Island and you have the opportunity to know the deep inner secrets and the thoughts and the dislikes and the likes and all that type stuff. I think that could also be a plus when it comes to those relationships and even the side pieces. Alexa, go ahead.
Hey,
I do hear you that it could be a plus, but this is coming from a person who is delivered from being a cheater. Okay. It takes strong characteristic development, and that is like, it's not easy. And not only is it not easy, you have to face shit about yourself that most of the time you don't want to face. Some of that stuff ties back to old stuff that you like, man, I didn't even know this was connected, or I didn't even want to think about this ever again. I forgot, or whatever the case. So there's all these other things. And I'm going to be honest, I think that the average person is looking for the next dopamine hit because of the way society's set up about a lot of dopamine things. And I think that the average person is not courageous or willing enough to really be like, you know what? Yeah, I see this wrong with me. I'm gonna work on it right now. I'm gonna be honest. No, and I think I have that opinion because as a person who travels nomadically, and I've been traveling like this for the last 7 months, I've met so many people across the world. I can try to have conversations like what I'm telling you right now, and it's very rare. I have come across one person out of all these people that is like, you know what? I actually understand and know what you're talking about. And it is really, 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 really hard. Everybody else is like, man, I ain't dealing with that shit. I'm gonna do what I do and I'm cool and da 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 da. Or you know what? Even if I don't cheat, I'm gonna leave things where it's the way it is because I don't want to work on me. So I think, that's the biggest thing about that show is they know going into it, the directors know the average person is not gonna work on themselves because it takes a lot of work and you're gonna be in pain and all these other things.
Okay.
And they're not there to work on themselves.
Right.
They're there for the fantasy.
Okay, so that's a good point too. He said they're not there to work on themselves. They're there for the fantasy, right? And I think even if I guess that's false sense of
yes,
All right, so
because the facade is always you're coming there to work on yourself. But that's why that's how they have a profile of who they want.
Yeah.
They get young, they get younger people who really are at a stage where they don't feel like they got to work on themselves. They don't feel like they got to do the work or do the healing and things like that. So it's easy for them to put them in this controlled environment because whether they're there or they're not thinking, oh, I need to work on myself. I need to,
Right.
my relationship. What they're going to do is they're going to pass off responsibility and accountability to the other person. It's their fault.
Okay. I'll buy that. So I'm gonna make a statement. I'm gonna close this part 2 out by making a statement, and then I want to know how you guys feel about it. And this is a statement, not a question. It's a statement. Being a secret lover boosts confidence and sexuality. Okay, let me repeat that. Being a secret lover boosts confidence and sexuality. Now, the data behind that. Some people reported affairs temporarily improve self-esteem and feelings of desirability, and we can see that. Validation from a new partner can create emotional highs, especially after rejection or neglect. However, studies also associate infidelity with guilt, anxiety, and depression, which kind of could, mess with the things I said, the confidence and the sexuality. So, one is, do you agree that it can boost confidence or sexuality?
I agree 100%,
100%.
150%.
Okay. Anybody who says
I agree 150% too.
150%. Okay. Anybody who says no?
She decided already.
I'm looking at you, Evelyn.
I'm gonna say, like, if there's I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go with the 150.
Okay.
Because the purpose that if the person is not meeting your needs, not even sexually, I'm talking about just you physically,
Physically, emotionally, psychologically,
yes, psychologically,
financially.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, this person sees me. They know, they see who I am, and they see value in me, and where your person may not.
But are they really seeing you, the person, or are they seeing an opportunity?
That's a good one. I know
Okay.
for me, I provide outstanding customer service.
So what does your customers need? Like, what is your customer calling your job for?
I provide outstanding customers. I provide That's why I say that it can lift a person's self-esteem, or just their opinion, or feeling great about themselves,
Right.
because like you said, if you're in a relationship or a situation where you feel not validated, unheard, diminished in the relationship, and of course, like Alexis said, if you meet someone, it's going to provide a instant dopamine high. You're going to feel great about that person. You're going to lift your spirits up, and you are more apt to perform at probably maybe at a higher level that you would have been stuck in that particular situation that you were in.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, and this was going to be my follow-up question, but you already answered it. So you're saying that confidence isn't genuine, and it's more or less a temporary validation.
I believe it. I believe it's a temporary validation.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Alexis.
I know. I agree. I agree that it could be temporary, but it could be used to become like more permanent confidence. Because I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I feel like I'm well rounded, but I've grown some
No.
confidence from.
Right.
I've grown some confidence from the temporary validation, and I've grown it to be very, very confident, and it works for me.
Okay.
Now,
one of my last statements,
works for me well.
One of my last statements I said and I said secret lovers boost confidence in sexuality. But that last statement, I said, studies also associate infidelity with guilt, anxiety, and depression. So can emotional highs or will emotional highs outweigh the long-term damage? Because that is long-term damage. Does it outweigh that, in your opinion?
It shouldn't in mine.
It should not. Okay.
Like,
I know that's right, Demetrius.
I'm not look, I'm gonna keep it real. Respect for everybody, because we all adults, and I'll be honest. And thanks for having me on the podcast, by the way. And I think it's for everybody to be honest, about dealing with this. I make some hard decisions in my life. That's why I can, like you call me the accountability king.
Yes.
But I realize like most things are temporary. So, which means I can make all these bad decisions, right? They feel good in the moment. It might feel good for 2 years.
Right.
But that third year, shit falling apart. My mind ain't right. My mind actually ain't matching.
And
ain't nothing adding up.
It's possible that you would have some long-term guilt and anxiety.
It's going to affect other things.
Assuming that you stayed in a relationship, and especially if you messed up a good thing. So that could be the long-term damage. So I guess people would have to really weigh whether the emotional highs now outweigh the long-term thing. Now, I don't think that people actually think about that long-term damage, or they wouldn't do it.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Right.
Most folks that do this, they don't care about the longevity.
Bingo.
It's about now.
Yeah. I don't know if they really care. I think a lot of times it doesn't come into their sight. I don't think it even comes across their mind, because, it's like I'm gonna put it in football when, you're looking at the football game and everything's going for your team and everything. You don't think about all the bad things that happen. Oh, my quarterback got injured, or such, we winning, forget all that. And then you find out, later on that it's not working out, because of certain decisions. But
I know for me, I would sit down with my clients and we would create a proactive strategy for your future success. That was just me.
Okay. Well, but you know what you said? You said plan, right? So that has the mindset that if you went into this, you're actually planning on making it a permanent thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I got customer service. Most folks had
That's right.
when they call in, he gives them the option. Say check. I like that, Paul.
I agree with that customer service thing. I'm for it. I'm really for it.
Get the bronze. You get the bronze, silver, gold package. Depending on your level of commitment, it's on you. I give you choice.
Okay.
What you pay,
and that's what people. That's what sells. That's what sells. People want options, and that's why they have side chicks. That's why they have main people. Yeah. The packages sell.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. So those are the pros of being a secret lover or having a secret lover. But that's episode. I keep saying episode. That's part 2. Now, stay with us if you want to be with part 3, and we're going to close it. Part 3 is going to close with the kinds of being a secret lover, and then we're going to go into some moral aspects of it. That's the part nobody wants to talk about. But you guys, thank you for joining. If you want to stay. But be sure to check out part 3 and of Secrets Lovers. Also, again, check out the other episodes on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to check out www.psycho4081.com and subscribe. But before we go, again, as usual, we need another word of the day. All right, E-Double, go ahead with the word of the day.
Customer service.
Customer service. Okay, we're going to make that a double. We're going to make this E-Double. We're going to have a double. Customer service. So those who are listening, please subscribe, because we'll send out the notifications. So if you get the word of the day, obviously you have the opportunity to win a prize. And we actually have some really good prizes. So please do that. And we'll catch you at the next episode.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Unfiltered with Psycho 4081. Big respect to our guests for keeping it real, and love to every listener rocking with us week after week. This conversation ain't over yet. Stay locked in for the next episode coming soon. Until next time, keep it unfiltered with Psycho 4081.